Welcome fellow gamer, I'm Doing Mountain, and in today's video is going to be the first guide about how to be the best sniper that you can be in Battlefield 6. I'm going to talk about the best classes to use as a sniper, must-have attachments for your weapon and loadout, tactics to improve your gameplay as a sniper, hidden game mechanics, and much more. This is the first of many videos about Battlefield that are coming to this channel. So if you love Battlefield or FPS games in general, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon to receive notifications about future videos and streams. So let's start. I already played all Battlefield games, and in this franchise the majority of times I played as a sniper. And it's been a while since I was genuinely hyped for a Battlefield release. With that said, and because the recent past experience with Battlefield games, I still have a foot behind concerning Battlefield. But I have to admit that at the Battlefield Open Beta, I had so much fun playing it. That allowed me to believe that this franchise maybe still have a good future ahead. Let's see what happens on release day and the next few months afterwards. But let's talk about classes. Depending on the game mode that you choose, you may or not use a sniper rifle with all available classes. Battlefield 6 will offer you two options. One, the close weapons game mode, that you will have access to all maps and game modes, but the classes are locked to a specific weapon type, like the past Battlefield games, not counting the Battlefield 2042 that was an open weapons game. And in this game mode, if you want to use a sniper rifle, you can only have one choice, the Recon class. But if you want to be free to choose any class and choose any weapon available in the game, you will have to choose the open weapons game modes. And since at the first option you only have one option to choose, let's talk about the second choice, the open weapons game mode. And after playing the beta, I noticed two things. One, if you play on a larger maps and you like to engage your targets at longer ranges, definitely use the Recon class, because the Recon class is the only class that can offer you some of the best abilities for this type of game style. So for better understanding why this class is the best for this game style, let's see what it has to offer. DICE already announced that the Recon class will be changed on release day. So some of the gadgets and abilities will change in comparison with the open beta. The Recon class will have the new specs ops that will be added on release day, that will be more oriented towards stealth, giving you more quieter takedowns, probe and crouch movement, will also allow you to spot enemy gadgets unless if you are sprinting, going prone takes you out of combat status effect faster, and also removes spot on yourself. The last one I think that can be very useful if you are trying to remain concealed as much as possible. The Recon class also has an active ability that at level 3 allows you to use a UAV that follows you and marks on the map the position of nearby enemies. This active ability is really good. The only problem that I find in this ability is the fact that at long range sniping, or even if you are in the outskirts of a battle, this ability will not help you that much, and even less your team. I would prefer to have less time to use this ability, but be able to choose a specific area where the UAV would operate. But if you like to be an aggressive sniper, this ability can be very useful for you and your team. The Recon class also has another similar spot mechanic that is a signature class trait called aim spotting that will automatically 3D spot enemies when aiming down sights. To be sincere, I never liked this 3D spotting system. I think that the 3D spotting system gives you too much information about player's position without any effort and almost any risk to the person doing the spotting. And even that this system is only available for the Recon class, I would prefer to have to manually point to a target with a specific gadget and not with the sniper rifle, and manually use the key to spot enemies one by one. But that is just my opinion. Another gadget to the Recon class is the motion sensor. As a long-range sniper, this gadget is not that useful. only if you are lucky enough to place the sensor and some player that is trying to sneak past through you, and that by chance he passes through your sensor, and you notice him in the mini-map. And I also feel that this gadget has a small detecting area, even playing as a close-range sniper. And probably the most used gadget used by the sniper rifle is the famous spawn beacon. We'll be leaving the recon class for the assault class. That, by the way, I am 100% in favor of this change. The spawn beacon on the recon class would be only used by the person who deployed the beacon or other snipers. And usually long-range snipers, they are far away from the action. But in the hands of the assault class, it can be used to flank or give close spawns to important objectives, and in this case, useful for the majority of the players. But one of the abilities that this class has that will definitely help you at long ranges is the hold breath mechanic, that allows you to control the sway of your crosshair when ADS. Sway is the constant movement up and down, left and right that your crosshair does every time when ADS. And if you use a different class with a sniper rifle equipped and you try to kill a target at long ranges, you will quickly see that long shots are more difficult to land without the hold breath mechanic. The recon class is also equipped with the famous C4, and C4 can only be used by the recon class. The C4 is one of the funniest gadgets to use in Battlefield. You can destroy vehicles, you can kill on foot enemies, and very important, if you get pinned down behind cover by close enemies. You can destroy buildings, and this gadget auto-regenerates without the use of ammo bags. So for me, if you are thinking doing long-range sniping, definitely use the recon class. But the second thing that I noticed when using the recon class in smaller maps is that you will find yourself constantly being engaging targets at close ranges. Problem with the recon class is that you have only one shot, one opportunity to get everything that you ever wanted, an headshot. The only way to one-hit kill an enemy with a sniper rifle. And if you don't, and you only get a hit marker, the time to do the bolt action and get a second shot, you will die before doing that. The TK on Battlefield 6 is really low, and in 90% of times, unless you have some cover to hide, you will die before the second shot is ready. And if you try to change to your sidearm, you will end up dead, because changing weapons takes more time that the enemy has to drop you down. So if you play in an open weapon mode, you are better off playing with the assault class, at least in smaller maps. Yes, you will lose the hold breath mechanic, but at close ranges the sway is not big of a problem. Your targets are closer, so the hitbox area is also bigger, so you don't need to be as precise. And playing with the assault class will give you a secondary main weapon that you can equip to engage at close ranges, like an AR, carbine or even a SMG, that will help you to close the gap between the sniper long and ranges and the mid-close ranges dominated by all other weapons. I noticed that I would die less in smaller maps with the assault class, because of the fact that in smaller maps you rarely engage only one enemy, you constantly have more than one target to engage. And having that secondary main weapon really improves those multi-close range targets engagement. A big win for the assault class sniper. The assault class will also have major changes, like for example the med pen that we played in the beta will give place to the adrenaline injector, that instead of healing will give you the resistance status effects like flashbang and burning status effects and give you a boost to your movement speed. A change that I think that was necessary. I think that all healing gadgets should only be used by a medic class. And as a close sniper, this adrenaline injection can still be useful and life-saving. Next we have the new trait of the assault class, the commanding presence, that will help you and nearby teammates to speed up the capping of the objective and also exiting the combat status faster. And this last one is the same trait as the recon class, but you don't have to prompt to activate this trait. We also have the famous spawn beacon that the recon class lost and now is coming to the assault class. So if you like to use this gadget, now you have to play as an assault class. Thumbs up for DICE for this change. And the assault class will also have a nice gadget that can eventually help you as a sniper, the new Assault Ladder, that will give you an easier access to the vertical game mechanics. Maybe will give you access to some rooms or rooftops that otherwise you would not have access. And as a sniper, having a difficult place to access can help you to remaining alive longer. And we cannot forget the grenade launcher, that in some ways can be useful, like the C4 to kill enemies, destroy buildings, and to damage a little bit the vehicles. And why the Assault class for sniping at smaller maps and not the Medic or Engineer? Engineer would not give you more advantages as a sniper, unless you like to destroy vehicles or you have a teammate that likes to use vehicles and you use their vehicles as a cover. Like that, you can literally heal your cover. And as a medic, yes, you would have infinite ammo and regen all the time you want. But in this game, I didn't felt like in previous games the need of restocking my ammo as often. I would find ammo close to me and more often. And unless you play with your own fire squad and no one wants to be the medic and that duty falls on your shoulders, I still think that the Assault class has more to give for the close range sniper. So now that you have defined your class, we have to talk about what makes a sniper, his weapon, the bolt-action sniper rifles. And in the beta, we only had one sniper to play with, but we already have an idea of what to expect about all the attachments. First, in Battlefield 6, the attachments have a new point system that I really love. Every attachment has a price, and the better the attachment, the higher the price. That will make players to choose wisely what kind of attachment will be equipped. And once you reach 100 points, you cannot equip more attachments. This system will help to balance the weapons, the attachments themselves, and create a more personalized loadouts. And the attachments that I like the most in the open beta are the DLC bolt that will allow you to chambering rounds while ADS. This helps you to get the follow-up shots, allowing you to keep tracking of your target while doing the bolt action animation. Another attachment that I like to use is the full angle grip that improves the ADS speed, really important especially at close range engagements, giving you those extra seconds to aim. This attachment gives you a penalty in accuracy when shooting and moving at the same time, but you should be standing still before shots anyway. And I will explain later why this penalty will not be applied to you. And probably the most important attachment for the sniper rifle is the 26-inch carbon barrel that improves the bullet velocity from 900 mpm to the 1025 meters per second. That will improve the time travel and drop of the bullet, meaning that you have to compensate less the drop of the bullet, and you don't have to lead as much when aiming at moving targets. This barrel is especially important for long-range engagements, because if the bullet travels faster, if you counter-snipe a player that is not using this barrel, your bullet will land on the target before the opponent's bullet will land on you, giving you a major advantage. Next, for the scopes, I usually use the 6x scope in larger maps, and in smaller maps I would change for the 5x scope. You can use a 3 or 3.5x scopes in smaller maps, but I still think that using a higher magnification scopes gives you a bigger hitbox area that will improve your accuracy. But if you are accurate, yes, you can use a ACOG scope that will give you a better peripheral vision and normally ADS speed. Another must-have attachment is the AG coating that will diminish the glint that your sniper makes. In Battlefield 6, the sniper glint is huge, like having a powerful flashlight equipped on your gun, so having an attachment that lowers the glint is very important to help conceal your position. And even that this weapon has more attachments like mags, ammo and suppressors, I think that these ones were the most important ones to equip in the beta. For the rest of your loadout, if you are using the Recon class, of course you always have a sidearm, that in the beta we only had one to use, and it was a weak sidearm, but I believe that in the release day we are going to have better sidearms at our disposal. C4 is a must-have, essential to destroy vehicles, killing enemies at close quarters, and also creating new exits or entering points in case that you find yourself inside building, by destroying the building walls or floor with the C4. Grenade-wise, I like the normal frag grenade, but I think that smoke grenades are going to be the grenade meta in this game, especially on breakthrough and rush modes. Having the motion sensor is not that important, so far is a weak and very circumstantial gadget. If you are using the assault class, of course using a secondary main weapon is very useful for CQC. Grenade launcher is an obvious choice, that it can be used like the Recon C4. The adrenaline pen can be very useful when being pre-pushed with flashbangs or flames. Grenade-wise, the same as the Recon class. Now that you have your class and your sniper rifle ready to go, you just have to get into a game and get some headshots. But knowing some tactics and game mechanics will definitely help you improve your gameplay. In Battlefield 6, I normally manually compensate my crosshair for the bullet drop and bullet velocity. It's the fastest way to engage a target, but if you find that this is difficult, you can always manually change your scope zeroing manually. On PC, you can use the B key. Zeroing is the distance that your sniper is accurate, and you can see the zeroing distance in your lower right corner of your screen. Normally, you can change the zeroing in 100 meters increments, and if your target is at 300 meters and your weapon is zeroed at 100 meters and you aim your crosshair at their heads, the bullet will not land on the head, but maybe on their legs. What you should do is to change the zeroing for the same distance that your enemy is, and now you can aim directly to their heads and your shots will be accurate. But if you feel that you are losing too much time changing the zeroing each time you engage a new target, you can always use a sniper attachment called rangefinder. And what it does is giving you the distance of the target that you are aiming, and it can also automatically change the zeroing of your scope for you, circumventing all the manual manipulations that you have to do. But don't forget that this will cost you extra attachment points to install this attachment. Another game mechanic that can help you knowing the distance that your target is by pinging his position. And I'm not talking about 3D spotting, I'm talking about manually ping a position. By doing that, the ping will show you the distance between you and the ping. Normally, more time you play the game, eventually you will automatically know the distances, but meanwhile it's a good way to know the distances in this game. If you are coming from other Battlefield games, one thing that you have to know about sniping is that in Battlefield 6 I've noticed that you don't need to compensate the bullet drop and leading as much as previous games. Battlefield 6 has a faster bullet velocity, and my first games I was missing a lot of shots that I thought that I was aiming perfectly, but I was overcompensating my crosshair, drop and leading. Another mechanic that is coming back to Battlefield 6 is the sweet spot to the sniper rifles. Normally, the sniper rifle only do the one-shot kill when the bullet hits the head, and it works at all distances. But like in past games, like Battlefield 1, sniper rifles now have a specific distance where you can one-shot kill an enemy in the chest. To be sincere, I don't really like this mechanic, but this time DICE improved this mechanic by limiting the sweet spot area to the upper chest area, limiting the abuse of this mechanic. Speaking of sweet spot, another good mechanic to know when counter-sniping is by noticing the glint of your enemy's sniper. If you see a rainbow glint, that means that you are in the enemy's sweet spot. So if you see a rainbow glint, be extra careful. Like I said before, you should always standing still before shooting. There are multiple reasons why you should do this. One, improves the accuracy when dragging your crosshair. If you are moving, it's like having a constant sway on your scope. Second, if you are using the Recon class, the hold breath mechanic will not activate when moving, so you will not use the best trait of this class. And the most important one is in Battlefield 6 as what some call bloom or spray. That is a game mechanic that every time you move or shoot a weapon for too long, the bullet will bloom or spray outside the center of your crosshair, making your weapon less accurate. With that said, you may have your crosshair in the right place, but if you are moving, the bullet will go a different way. Another good tactic is not abusing the hard scope. Hard scope is when a player stays a long period of time in ADS. The more time you stay in ADS, the more time you are exposing your position with your weapon glint. Not only that, when you are in ADS you lose a lot of your peripheral vision. That can be very important to prioritizing targets and see what is happening all around you. What you should do is to quickly ADS and quickly engage a target and get out of ADS. Evaluate your surroundings, pick a target and quickly ADS again, and so on and so on. And since we talk about awareness, you should know how to choose a spot to snipe. The best spots are spots that can fully cover you, that you have multiple angles to get a pick. If your spot has only one side that you can use to pick, you will become too predictable, and an enemy can pre-aim your position and wait for you to take a pick and drop you down. But if your cover has a multiple picking points, even that your enemy knows where you are, he will never know from where you are going to pick. Another thing that you have to have in mind when choosing your spot is to never go to the obvious places. And yes, we all saw Saving Private Ryan, and we all love the idea of going to the church bell tower and snipe enemies. But everybody already saw that movie, so everybody is already expecting a sniper in the bell tower. The same goes to using the top of the mountains or some high places. So if you can, use some places where players are not expecting to see a sniper. Another tactic that even I forget too often is repicking. If you know that another player knows your position and you already engage him from that angle, you should not repick again from the same position. What you should do is one of two things. One, simply stay put and wait a large amount of time to let your enemy lose interest in you. Or the second one, change your position altogether and engage a target from a different spot. Another tip that I thought that was weird and maybe will not be on the release day is the fact that if you use a low magnification scope like an ACOG in a sniper rifle, you still have the sniper glint. Normally in Battlefield, like in many other games, when you use a low magnification scope, you lose the sniper glint. But in the beta, I was seeing people using ACOGs and still having the sniper glint. Now, because in the open beta we could only use one sniper and some game mechanics and class traits will change on the release day of the game, this video will help you to understand how sniping works and prepare you for the Battlefield 6 release day. But after the game releases, I will do more videos with more in-depth information about all sniper rifles and classes. But meanwhile, tell me in the comment section what is the class that you are going to play with and why. And maybe I will do also a video about it. And as always, I hope that you have enjoyed this video, and if so, please consider to leave it a like or a dislike. And if you want to see future content and streams, also consider to subscribe and click the bell icon to receive notifications. And I will see you all on the next one, but until then, have a nice day and good gaming.